Rational Wiki is a joke. The following is a snapshot of Rational Wiki dated March 31st, 2025. Who knows how long this completely irrational garbage has been up? It is an embarrassment because it simply slanders the Zeitgeist movement and the Venus Project with complete rubbish while claiming to be a rational website. The following will address this slander. Let's start with the article on the Venus Project. This article presents a misleading and hostile portrayal of the Venus Project, TVP, misrepresenting its principles, dismissing its goals without serious engagement, and failing to offer substantive counterarguments. Let's address these so-called criticisms point by point. 1. The Venus Project is a communist cult. TVP is not a cult. It is an educational organization advocating for a transition to a scientifically managed, resource-based economy, RBE. Unlike communism, which historically involved state control and centralized political power, an RBE removes market-based incentives and replaces them with a system where technology and resource management ensure equitable distribution without coercion or bureaucracy. The use of the word cult is an ad hominem attack, rather than a rational critique. 2. Stock standard central planning but with computers. TVP does not advocate for centralized state control. Instead, it proposes a distributed, dynamic system where decisions are made based on real-time resource availability and sustainability, not political agendas. This is fundamentally different from Soviet-style central planning, which suffered from bureaucratic inefficiencies and human corruption. The argument ignores the increasing role of AI and automation in decision-making, which today optimizes logistics, energy distribution, and even medical diagnoses better than human planners. 3. Who makes decisions? The Venus Project is vague. The project envisions a system where decisions are derived from scientific data, rather than arbitrary human opinions or financial interests. It does not remove human choice but rather ensures that decision-making aligns with sustainability and efficiency. Humans will still express preferences, such as food choices, lifestyle, recreation, but the system will optimize production to eliminate waste and inefficiencies inherent in market-driven scarcity models. 4. The demand side still requires human choice, and supply requires human programmers. Yes, human preferences will exist, but unlike in capitalist economies where artificial scarcity inflates costs, resources will be distributed based on availability and need. Computers do not need to control everything, but they assist in decision-making by evaluating data on Earth's carrying capacity and technological capabilities. Programmers will design systems, but these systems will continuously adapt based on feedback and sustainability requirements. 5. Chile's Project Cybersyn proves this won't work. Project Cybersyn was a pioneering experiment, but was limited by 1970s technology. No AI, no IoT, no big data analytics. The fact that Cybersyn was abruptly shut down by a fascist coup, not by technical failure, is conveniently ignored. Modern computational power far exceeds what was available during Cybersyn, making a real-time, automated economic management system much more viable. 6. No money? That's just digital money. This argument misrepresents TVP's stance. The key issue is not whether there is a token of exchange, but eliminating the scarcity-driven profit motive that leads to inequality, planned obsolescence, and environmental destruction. Digital money with universal basic income, as the article suggests, still operates within a scarcity-based system, while an RBE redefines access based on sustainability rather than pricing. The article fails to acknowledge that many essential goods, e.g., water, internet, public transport in some places, are already transitioning towards being freely accessible. 7. The Venus Project has no real plan. TVP has already completed the first phase, created documentaries, and proposed experimental cities. While a full-scale transition to an RBE will take time, this does not invalidate the idea. Technological progress is incremental. The claim that TVP is similar to Disney's Epcot ignores that Epcot was a corporate-driven, entertainment-oriented concept, while TVP is about scientific resource management. 8. Split with Zeitgeist proves greed and power struggles. The split between TVP and the Zeitgeist movement was not about greed but differences in strategy. TVP focuses on physical implementation, while Zeitgeist focused on awareness and activism. The Venus Project remains committed to its core vision despite disagreements. Conclusion: this article cherry-picks historical examples, misrepresents TVP's goals, and fails to engage with the actual technological advancements that make an RBE feasible. It uses strawman arguments and ad hominem attacks, rather than addressing the real problems of capitalism, such as waste, inequality, and environmental destruction. Now let's continue with the article on the Zeitgeist movement. This article is clearly biased and filled with ad hominem attacks, misrepresentations, and outright falsehoods. It does not engage with the core ideas of the Zeitgeist movement, TZM, but instead relies on ridicule and dismissive language. I will address these so-called criticisms point by point. 1. Poorly organized crank movement. TZM is a grassroots sustainability advocacy group, not a crank movement. It promotes scientifically grounded solutions to social and economic issues, including automation, sustainable resource management, and global cooperation. The movement operates internationally with active chapters, community projects, and educational outreach. 2. A conspiratorial fringe rehash of the technocracy movement. TZM does not rely on conspiracy theories, but critiques systemic economic flaws using historical and scientific analysis. While TZM acknowledges influences from Technocracy Inc. and figures like Buckminster Fuller, it is distinct in its approach, emphasizing a transition to a resource-based economy (RBE) rather than a hierarchical technocratic system. 3. Undirected whining about capitalism. TZM does not whine about capitalism, but presents a structured critique based on its inherent inefficiencies, such as artificial scarcity, planned obsolescence, and environmental degradation. Rather than simply rejecting capitalism, TZM proposes an alternative economic model rooted in technological progress, automation, and equitable resource management. 4. Techno-utopianism with Alex Jones-esque thinking. TZM is not utopian. It acknowledges the challenges of transitioning to an RBE and promotes a pragmatic, step-by-step approach. Associating TZM with Alex Jones is a smear tactic, as TZM does not endorse conspiracy theories, paranoia, or pseudoscience. 5. Dying movement with a shrinking presence. While interests may fluctuate, the movement remains active in various countries, continuously engaging in educational initiatives, events, and discussions. The assertion that its presence is shrinking is anecdotal and lacks concrete evidence. Social movements evolve over time, and online metrics do not define their long-term impact. An example of recent activity by the Zeitgeist movement is the Revolution Now podcast by Peter Joseph. Also, the Social Atmosphere movement, or the unofficial Zeitgeist movement, has attempted to produce public domain versions of Zeitgeist movement-related documentaries, namely a Zeitgeist Moving Forward clone called System Shift and a Zeitgeist Addendum clone called Our Cultural Climate. The purpose behind these films is not only can movement members re-upload these videos to spread the ideas of the Venus Project without being restricted by copyright, additions or edits to them is encouraged to these films to improve the case being made for a scientifically based social system. Also, there are many other related Zeitgeist movement projects. The Reality of Me Project, Moneyless Society, Money Free Party USA, and ResourceBasedEconomy.org to name a few. 6. Frothing abusive nutters. This is a blatant ad hominem attack with no basis in reality. The Zeitgeist movement consists of individuals from diverse backgrounds who engage in discussions about sustainability, technological advancement, and social progress. Dismissing members in this manner is intellectually dishonest and avoids engaging with their ideas. Conclusion: this article is not a legitimate critique, but a hit piece designed to discredit TZM through mockery rather than reasoned argument. Instead of addressing the movement's core proposals, such as eliminating systemic inefficiencies, automating labor, and designing a sustainable economic model, it resorts to name-calling and baseless claims.